I'm currently updating our 40-year-old house. We bought this place in 2009 while working overseas. After returning home, we lived in a different city where our jobs located. Until the year before last, we settled into our house and began living here continuously. The house is 40 years old. Much of it needs to be updated. I decided to approach this by updating one area at a time, doing each section on an extreme budget. We often see this type of oak cabinets in older houses. They must be popular at one time, but now they are just dated and not in style anymore. I want to stay with my budget and don't want to spend money on new cabinet. Because one, that's expensive, and two, there's nothing wrong with this one. It's just not in style and we can totally change that. I use this large cabinet to store bedding and other household items. I intended to leave some room at the bottom for my cats, as they love to spend some time napping in there. Somehow both of our cats learned how to open that door, so I just used that spot to store their towels and blankets. After removing all the doors, I first sanded the wood with the 150 grit sandpaper to remove the gloss finish. This will give the primer and the paint a good surface to adhere to. If you have an electrical sander, this job can go much faster. But no worries if not. You can easily get the job done by hand. The biggest issue with painting oak cabinets is how to minimize the grain that comes with that type of wood. It's really hard to get rid of that texture. I went to Ace Hardware store that's nearby our house and asked the staff if they had any recommendations. The staff recommended the Kills primer that goes on thick and would cover the wood grain better. This is for both interior and exterior use. I primed the backside first. I wouldn't be bothered by how much grain would show on the backside of the door, so I only needed to put one coat of primer and paint. On the front, I used the brush for the edges and the corners, then a high-density foam roller for the flat surface. To cover the oak grain, you need to apply 2 or 3 coats. Depends on how much oak you can live with. In this case, I did 3, because I wanted the finish as smooth as possible. Just remember, we need to let it dry completely between coats. The top coat paint I also got from Ace Hardware. It's Benjamin Moore's, color called Backwoods. It's a medium dark shade of green with a warm undertone. As I'm updating the entire area, I painted the hallway doors with a neutral light gray color. I really think this classic and timeless rich green color would go well with that and complement each other. I applied 2 coats of the paint for the front and only 1 coat on the back. As I said, I wouldn't be bothered that how much green showing in the back, as no one will ever see it. After everything was completely dry, it's time to put the doors back onto the frame. I attached the new hinges on the back side of the doors. They were gold brass. To achieve a high-end look, I decided to add a set of cabinet knobs to the doors. I was browsing online for a long time. Finally, I found these solid brass gold-color knobs from Amazon. They also came with 2 sizes of screw sets. Make sure they would fit the thickness of your wood. To drill a hole on finished wood surface, remember always use the painter's tape to tape off the spot where you were gonna drill, to protect the wood surface from cracking or chipping. I love how this big cabinet turned out. Gold brass went so well with the rich green. Together they created a high-end, refined, elegant vibes to the space. It took some time and efforts to get the job done, but it was definitely worth it in the end. That's it for today's video, guys. Stay tuned for the completed hallway makeover. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon.